Okay, hello, selamat malam, salam sejahtera semua. Hari ini we are finishing up 2.3 nasionalisme di Asia with our final country, which is Empire Uthmaniyah dan Mesir. Now, before we go in, let's give a quick recap. Perkembangan nasionalisme di Asia, we had 4 countries, right? And they were discussing 3 different aspects. Number 1, penjajahan with the country India. Number 2, we had Japan and China, talking about opposite sides of where the pemerintahan raja takes place in nationalism. China with their Dr. Sun Yat-sen, talking about the tiga prinsip rakyat, talking about how we should fight for our own country, and pemulihan Meiji with Maharaja Mikado Meiji all the way at Japan. Now we're talking about the final one, which is all about memperjuangkan agama Islam, okay? Agama Islam. So the focus for these 2 countries, right, it's all about agama. It's the final aspect we will talk about, okay? I'm going to put this symbol for Islam. So, number 1, let's start first. Again, who was PMO? That is the way we think about it. When we want to jelaskan nasionalisme, siapa yang berasa marah nak memperjuangkan nasionalisme? Macam mana mewujudnya nasionalisme? So, we start here. Faktor ataupun sebab tercetusnya Empayar Uthmaniyah dan Mesir melakukan gerakan nasionalisme adalah dengan kesedaran, okay? Kesedaran nasionalisme mereka lahir daripada kesedaran, their awareness untuk mempertahankan sistem pemerintahan Islam dan agama Islam, right? To protect, mempertahankan agama Islam, the religion itself, and sistem pemerintahan Islam, which is the way the monarchy system, the government system melalui agama Islam, okay? Based on the hukum Sharia, we talked about this, right? The Islamic law, okay? Hukum Sharia. So, what are the first things you must know? The most important things, right? Well, yes, this was starting from their awareness. What did it lead to? Well, menentang, to go against, fight against imperialisme Barat di Mesir. So this is focusing over on Mesir, right? So menentang imperialisme Barat. It's always about the Barat, right? Think about it. For India, it was the Barat. For China, it was they were taken over by pengaruh Barat. For Japan, they were trying to prevent the pengaruh Barat and following their punya model for modernization. For the Empire of Mania and Mesir, these two again go against imperialisme Barat. Berlakunya pertembungan, which means pertembungan kebudayaan. That means pertembungan kebudayaan. There was a crashing where these 2 cultures were mixing up with each other, antara Eropah Amerika dengan kebudayaan tempatan, dan hal ini mengubah, okay, it changes budaya dan tradisi kepercayaan masyarakat tempatan. So, masyarakat tempatan, what I'm trying to say is that with dia punya pengaruh from this side influencing the people here, okay, mewujudkan pertembungan dia punya cultures, because this is on the agama Islam side. Then you should know on Barat, what kind of agama were they pushing? Christianity. Okay, I'm just gonna write the word Christian here. So these 2 are different agamas, although if I'm not wrong, they originate from the same lokasi, but pertembungan kebudayaan berlakunya dan mengubah budaya dan tradisi kepercayaan masyarakat tempatan. What does this mean, right? It implies that there are people changing the ways of Islam because of the influence from the outsiders, imperialisme Barat, okay? Mengubah budaya dan tradisi. So we're gonna go in depth, a little bit more in depth, right? Talking about this. Number 1, you should know that all of this starts from Mesir first. Mesir, oh, I wrote off my Mesir. Mesir means Egypt, okay? So there's one word, one name I need everyone to know, which is gerakan. Gerakan means the movement. Gerakan means the movement, alright? Then Islah. Islah. Gerakan Islah. Okay, what is this? Well, gerakan Islah is dia punya like gerakan pemulihan Islam. Pemulihan, we know, a restoration of Islam. So gerakan Islam di Mesir. So what happened? Well, gerakan Islam merujuk kepada gerakan pemulihan Islam. Gerakan ini telah dipelopori, it was started by 活动起来、推动起来 who pushed for this. Well, two tokoh in particular, you should remember them. This gerakan Islam, right, quite important, very important. Why? It's because nanti kita akan belajar negara our punya country Malaysia, and we are influenced. We are an Islamic country. That's where we were also influenced by gerakan Islam. That is the connection, right? Two people here. Syed Jamal Al-Din Syed Jamal Al-Din Al-Fagani dan Sheikh Muhammad Abdul. Sheikh Muhammad Abdul. These two people mempelopori gerakan Islam di Mesir. Okay, thus perjuangannya. What was the reason for this? Well, imperialisme Barat di Mesir menyebabkan berlakunya pertembungan kebudayaan antara Eropah, Amerika dan masyarakat tempatan. We're talking all about this, right? Well, we stated just now, they had like the culture kind of crashing up and mixing in with each other. Thus, the reason for gerakan Islam was to, number one, there were three things they wanted to settle. The first fact was to menyeru. Menyeru means to call out to umat Islam or the Muslims, Islam believers, berpegang pada ajaran Islam sebenar, to hold on to the original Islam ajaran, dia punya teachings. Number two, so hold on to what is sebenar, I'm going to put S lah. Number two, berpandukan Al-Quran dan Hadis. How do you follow the ajaran Islam yang sebenar? You look back to the Al-Quran, and the Hadith is like almost like a what do you call it? Not a guide, a annotated version, explained version of the Al-Quran. That is what Hadith is. So to go back to your Al-Quran, that is my book symbol. Al-Quran and your Hadith. And finally, number three, memperbaiki kehidupan masyarakat untuk melepaskan diri daripada penjajahan. Why? Well, this is connecting to these two, right? These two, what was the reason for these two? Memperbaiki kehidupan, to improve the lives of masyarakat. Improve the lives of masyarakat untuk melepaskan diri, to free yourselves from what? Penjajahan, from colonization. They say quite dramatically, honestly, but it is in somewhat true when you hold on to your original punya agama. Okay, so quick recap: gerakan Islam, pemulihan agama Islam, dipelopori oleh Syed Jamal Al-Din Al-Fagani dan Sheikh Muhammad Abdul. The first one was to menyeru umat Islam untuk berpegang pada ajaran Islam yang sebenar. Then dengan itu mereka tak berpandukan Al-Quran dan Hadis. Dan finally, untuk memperbaiki kehidupan masyarakat. That's not your masyarakat. Kehidupan masyarakat. Dan untuk melepaskan diri, to free yourself daripada penjajahan. Okay? So that is everything for Mesir. Very short and simple only. So now we move on to the next one, okay? So you can look away from Mesir, zoom. Now we talk about Empire Uthmaniyah. So Empire Uthmaniyah is indeed, okay, gerakan Islam is not here, but they are very closely related. Okay, so you can look over on page 27, muka surat 27 kat buku teks kamu. Okay, oh my list. Okay, Empire Uthmaniyah. First and foremost, gerakan, here the gerakan we have is gerakan Islamisme. Okay, now pan in this case, Islamisme, you can understand, right? Islam, agama Islam. Pan in this case is unity. Okay, like the unitedness, the zuyi, like have it, or you can think of it like that. Pan Islamisme, gerakan ini. So one big perpaduan in this sense, you know, PP. So they both start with letter P. what happens first? Okay, they give you pada tahun 1883 ataupun 1883, Syed Jamaluddin Al-Afghani menubuhkan kumpulan yang diberikan nama Al-Urwah Al-Wuthqa yang bermaksud ikatan yang kuat. Okay, do you recognize this man? We talked about him before, right? This particular lad, Syed Jamaluddin Al-Afghani. This lad is the same lad responsible for your Gerakan Islah. So the way you can differentiate Pan-Islamisme dan Gerakan Islah is that Gerakan Islah, okay, the lah here, Islah, it sounds like Islam, right? Islah, and the lah over here you can understand as baca lah, because all of this was about holding on to the ajaran Islam yang sebenar, to hold on to your berpandukan Al-Quran dan Hadis. Now what's the difference with Pan-Islamisme? Well, gerakan Pan-Islamisme adalah yang bermaksud kumpulan Al-Urwah Al-Wuthqa, ikatan yang kuat, ditubuhkan, was created. What was the reason? Kumpulan ini ditubuhkan untuk memperkuat rasa persaudaraan, to strengthen the feeling of being close to one another, also like being a family, dan membawa umat Islam kepada kemajuan, to bring all of your Islam leaders to to success, for in a sense glory. Okay, so when they had this punya kumpulan, what did they do in here? Well, penubuhan ini telah menerbitkan akhbar. They had their own newspaper, kind of like majalah in a sense, their own newspaper labeled by the same name, Al-Urwah Al-Wuthqa, untuk menyebarkan idea Pan-Islamism, to spread this punya idea, because they want more people to reach it. So perjuangannya, what was the reason? Menyeru penyatuan umat Islam seluruh dunia. Remember, P is all about unity, perpaduan, or in this case you can say penyatuan. Penyatuan. Okay lah, penyatuan umat Islam, all the Muslim people, all the Muslims in the entire world, seluruh dunia, untuk menghalang penjajahan Barat, to prevent the colonization of the Westerners. Number 2, Empire Uthmaniyah mengeluarkan fatwa. Fatwa means like in specific sense the Islam rules, menyeru umat Islam ditindas bangkit berjuang bersama. Ditindas means they were prevented, stopped. Bangkit berjuang bersama. That means this punya leader, their punya akhbar, they were spreading that Empire Uthmaniyah mengeluarkan fatwa, the law, that all of the umat Islam that have been stopped, prevented, ditindas has been stopped, like halang, maksudnya almost like resisted by other people, have to work together. Bangkit berjuang bersama. Okay, it's all about persaudaraan. Okay, talk about it, right? Untuk what's this? Menyeru penyatuan. Then in the front they say memperkuatkan rasa persaudaraan. It's all about taking all the umat Islam around the world to form one whole family. So then we understand who gerakkan dia punya Pan-Islamisme. So we know that the kumpulan we talked about, the ikatan yang kuat, was by our leader over here, who had the same idea for Gerakan Islah. But for Pan-Islamisme digerakkan oleh pemerintah yang bernama Khalifah Abdul Hamid kedua. Okay, and that's about it. Then they give you contoh for your punya form 3 bab 7, bab 7 punya sejarah. Okay, they give contoh. Mendapatkan sokongan umat Islam, dia punya gerakan, sokongan umat Islam seluruh dunia. Then they give you a contoh for our punya country. Contohnya di Tanah Melayu, kebangkitan Tok Janguk. Tok Janguk was an agama teacher, remember? He taught agama Islam menentang British di Kelantan pada tahun 1915. 1915. There you go. 1915. And that's it. That's all for your Gerakan Pan-Islamisme. Thus, we put on to a stop And the key point you can remember is one, it's all about the keyword they use here is menyeru, to call out to all of their punya umat Islam seluruh dunia. For what? To menghalang, okay, melepaskan diri daripada penjajahan Barat in particular. And that means we have officially finished their punya nationalism for Asia. Alright, so I will see you next for 2.4, which is my favorite, because then we're going to talk about Asia Tenggara, specifically Filipina. If you don't know, by the way, my name is Jonathan Rizal, and the name Jonathan Rizal is going to come from one of the tokos over here in Filipina. Thank you.